What you saying, everyone? Thought I'd jump on. The first weekend of the Premier League is pretty much finished, apart from Everton Leeds tonight. So I thought I'd just come on and chat about what we've seen, the expectations that have been met, maybe some of the expectations that haven't been met, which for me there's quite a lot from the teams that we've seen so far. And yeah, we'll just have a quick roundup of the Premier League's action, see what you guys think, see if your opinions have changed, maybe from some of the predictions you made a week or so ago. So I guess we'll start from the top. The first game Friday night was Liverpool versus Bournemouth. Personally thought that it'd be a pretty easy walkover for Liverpool. Bournemouth have lost the majority of the best players in the summer transfer window, especially the defenders. So I thought they were going to be pretty much overrun by that Liverpool front line. A lot's been said about this Liverpool team. People calling them a super team already. People saying that they're going to win the league easy. They're talking up the new signings before we've even seen them in action in the Premier League. And going off the Community Shield and this game, they ain't all that. I am telling you right now. That this team has been glazed, triple glazed, Krispy Kreme glazed far, far too much before we even had a chance to see them in action. It's all right plucking big names in a transfer window, which I know a lot of the City fans have been wanting us to do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work in a system. I thought Ekitike was relatively impressive. I thought he was probably their biggest nuisance on the day. But the state of Liverpool's back line, I am telling you now, they're going to concede a lot of goals this year. Obviously, Frimpong's got all the talent in the world going forward, but seems to be caught out in transition. Probably similar to Kirkers on the other side. And Konate and Van Dijk, them two looked like they'd never played football before on Friday. I swear to God, I know Van Dijk's obviously a good player in the whole scheme of things, but he's absolutely scammed a living out of just jockeying constantly. The guy doesn't put a tackle in, and he carried that record for a few months, didn't he, where he'd never got dribbled past. It's because he never tries to win the ball. You look at that Semenyo second goal where he's run from the halfway line, and Van Dijk literally jockeys him all the way into his own box until he literally shoots and scores. And then Mo Salah, everyone knows my feelings on him, absolutely stinks the gaff out for 90 minutes. I even tweeted about it saying at 20 minutes before it happened that he'd end up scoring a shit goal on the counter-attack when Bournemouth are chasing a draw. But yeah, I'm not impressed at all by Liverpool. And I'm going to move on to the other games as well, because, like I say, I'm not impressed by any team I've seen this weekend, except Man City. And it might sound biased, but we've looked like the best team by a country mile out of everyone that's played this weekend. We move on to the 12:30 kickoff between Newcastle and Villa. I was actually in Leeds with my mates doing the Otley Run, and this was the first game that we started with in the pub. And honestly, it could have put us all to sleep and sent us home by 3 o'clock. It was dreadful. And this makes me question. I was sat there thinking to myself, this is two teams who have overachieved in the last few seasons. They've both been in the Champions League, yet they've both massively regressed. This is why you have to question the PSR rulings that teams have to abide by nowadays, because you look at Newcastle and Villa's squad compared to last season, and they both fell off a cliff. They've lost players, but they've not had the ability to bring players in. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of the clubs who were suffering for this were the ones who voted for it. But for the good of football, that should have been a top game on Saturday early doors. And it absolutely stunk the place out. It was long balls into channels, scrap it. like tackles flying in the middle. No quality of football whatsoever. So again, two teams with high expectations coming into this season that just haven't impressed me at all. Yeah, not good. Stinky. Again. Obviously, we was out, so I've not had a chance to watch the full games of the 3 o'clock kickoffs, but we kept track of the scores. I've managed to see a few of the highlights. Brighton conceded late in a game that they probably should have won against Fulham. I would have backed them to get the job done there. Sunderland, I had them coming bottom in my predictions, and maybe I was wrong, or maybe West Ham really just are that bad. If you're a West Ham fan, I'd be extremely worried right now, because dropping a 3-0 L to a newly promoted team on the first day of the season, I think the manager's going to be in big trouble unless they get a good couple of results over the next few weeks. I know they didn't finish the strongest, and it just goes to show, be careful what you wish for, man. The grass ain't always greener, and getting rid of Moyes after he'd won him a European trophy and all that business. Look where you are now, boys. This disgraceful decision from the club, and it looks like you're going to be in a relegation dogfight this year because of it. Spurs, again, I spoke about how they impressed me against PSG. I think they was unlucky to lose the game on penalties in the end, just a little bit naive when it came to the defending in the last 10 minutes. But again, it's a good performance. I know it was only against Burnley, a newly promoted team, but a very solid defensive team like they showed last year, and to put them to the sword 3-0, it's a good start. And if Thomas Frank has got Richarlison scoring braces, then the guy might be the second coming of Jesus Christ, mate, because that is a worldly task in itself. So shout out to Thomas Frank. I have backed them to massively improve this year under him, because I rate him that highly as a manager. So yeah, they were probably the only other team that had a decent enough result to talk up. So yeah, Spurs 3-0. And then obviously we get to the 5:30 kickoff on the Saturday. It was already half cut by this point, but Man City, slow start, a bit of a tentative start, but as soon as we got going, the floodgates opened. Absolutely world-class performances from some of the players on that pitch. I had a drunken rant that I posted on YouTube at like 2 a.m. on after Saturday night that I've since deleted, but I was gassing up Tijani Reinders. Already showing absolute levels. Just his ability to not only cover ground defensively and be box to box, but how positive he is moving the ball forward as well. For the first goal, it wasn't the usual, let's look to pass sideways. He dummied the pass, took it past his man, took it past the midfield, gets into those pockets then with just the back four in front of him, and he was able to play a perfect pass to Rico Lewis, who put a great ball into Haaland to get on the score sheet to start off what was a rout in the end. Reinders was the best player on the pitch for by a mile. This guy's an absolute steal for the price we paid for him. I can't believe that no other club was in for Reinders in the summer. So when people talk about who's done the best business this window and how Liverpool's transfer window is the best they've ever seen, nah, mate. Like, you're spending £110 million on the likes of Florian Wirtz, who's still hasn't proved anything in English football as of yet. Tijani Reinders is a third of the price. First game, hits the ground running, drops a man of the match performance. I know for a fact who I think in that side of the game has done the best business, because we've just got Cherky, Reinders and Aït-Nouri all for the same price as Florian Wirtz, who dropped a stinker on Friday, by the way. So, yeah, I had a big drunken rants about Reinders, saying how he's already better than Scholes in the Premier League and all stuff like that. And maybe I'll repost it later on in the season when he's when he's strung a few more world-class performances together. But, yeah, so I thought he was fantastic. I thought Aït-Nouri was fantastic. Rico Lewis as well, I've got to give a shout-out, because I've not always been his biggest fan, especially at right-back. But very solid performance from him. John Stones looked absolutely back to his best, and I just pray that we can keep him fit even for 20-25 games this season, because there's no doubt in my mind that this man's the best centre-back at the club when he's fully fit. So yeah, hopefully he can stick around for a prolonged period. Nico Gonzalez gets his well-deserved start, and the manager was right to put faith in him. He had a great performance. He was great the defensive side of the ball, winning the ball back, progressive passes as well. He was passing into the pockets like we want to see. We want to see the creative players picking up the ball. Your Oscar Bobbs, your Cherky when he come on. Reinders as well was able to create lots of space in those pockets. So I thought he had a very good game. Oscar Bobb as well, as I've just mentioned. Unbelievable performance. Great signs of dribbling, ability to take on his man, but also patience as well. He knew when to go and he knew when to pass back so the ball could be crossed into the box. Haaland, what can you say? 2 goals in the right place at the right time. I love to just see him getting into these areas again, like for the Rico Lewis goal, and he took his second goal very well as well. We got a bit stagnant towards the end of last year where he was just gambling towards the back post and balls were getting lofted into the box all the time. And I don't think heading's really his strong point. I'd probably say it's a weakness, if anything, but obviously because of his height and size, he does get to a lot of the balls, but I think he struggles to get over them. He'll get the right contact on them a lot of the time. So I think he's at his best when he's in between the two centre-backs. Obviously trying to run in behind as well with his pace and his power. So yeah, I thought he was great. And I just think we were the best team by a mile across the whole weekend. And I mean, people say Wolves is an easy game. I don't necessarily think Wolves away is an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, it took us a last minute winner to get a win there last year. I think it was John Stones off a corner. And I mean, we've seen other teams this weekend struggle against weaker opposition. I think Bournemouth are quite a weak side at the moment with the players that they've lost. Liverpool struggled massively against them. We're going to come on to the games on Sunday in a minute as well. Obviously, United and Arsenal were some of the main culprits of stinky performances this weekend. Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? Like, we'll move on to that Chelsea game now. I managed to watch most of it. Obviously, Palace are a solid side. The decision to have the free kick chalked off was a disgrace, in my opinion. I know the ruling in the end was that he was within a metre of the wall, but it's just woke nonsense, isn't it? How you can take a free kick off someone like that. A world-class free kick that's been put in. I know Sanchez probably should have saved it, but to have it chalked off for something as pathetic as being as 1 metre from the wall, it's just absolute nonsense. But again, not a great performance by them, and a lot of people have tipped them to be challengers this year with the signings they've made. I thought Cole Palmer was very poor, João Pedro was very poor, who people have gassed up, obviously. Not impressed, one bit. Not one bit impressed by Chelsea. But again, I guess we'll see how they fare over the coming weeks, because I don't want to judge too early based off one game. Forest, a team who I thought would struggle massively this season compared to last. Chris Wood still doing the business. Like, every time you seem to write this guy off, saying that, he's not going to be able to do it next year, he's come back, hit the ground running, 2 goals. Again, against a very, very poor side, I believe. Brentford without Thomas Frank this year, they've lost pretty much most of their best players. I've actually tipped them to go down. I think I had them coming 18th. So, yeah, it's a good performance by Forest, to be fair, but against opposition that I don't think are all that whatsoever. So, yeah, good result for them. And then it come to the game yesterday, Arsenal against United, title challengers Arsenal, who it's going to be their year again. They've got a striker now. Absolutely not. First of all, let's talk about the striker, because that's one of the worst performances I think I've ever seen from a Premier League striker on his debut. Like, the guy it was like he was playing football with steel toe caps on. Like he'd come off a building site and was trying to run the channels for Arsenal. He'd been pulled into the squad last second. I have no idea what Victor Gyökeres was doing yesterday, and he rightly got hooked in the end. But on the whole, I've actually thought United were the better side. I know Ryan made some big saves. And I thought Cunha looked good in spells, but let's not get too giddy. Like I've already heard United fans saying, "Oh, it was a great performance. It was we are going to be back this year. We're going to be in and around the top 6." Like, come on, you've still got beat against an Arsenal side who looked dreadful. You still took an L and you still scored 0 goals. So I'd chill if I was you, because that Arsenal side was shocking yesterday. And if it wasn't for the defence and the keeper, who were probably the strongest part of Arsenal's side, then I genuinely think it could have been like 3-1 to United. So, yeah, very poor from Arsenal. Don't see them as title challengers. United were all right, but again, is that not just the performance of a mid-table side? Probably, which to be fair, is an improvement on what they was last year. So, yeah, maybe United fans will be happy that they're going to be in and around that 8 to 12 range in the Premier League next year, which I reckon is probably fair of where to put them. I think they've still got big issues with the manager and how they set up. I don't rate Amorim at one bit. I don't think his system works either. They're still obviously missing a proven goal scorer. I know the Sesko's just come in, but I don't think he's going to be all that either. I mean, you go off the numbers that he's put up in previous seasons, and it's very, very similar to the likes of Rasmus Højlund when he first come in. And I think teams are just getting addicted to getting these big, athletic, big build lumps up front now to try and copy the Erling Haaland mould. I think that's why Højlund came in the first place, because they thought they had the next Erling Haaland. Gyökeres is of a similar build and ilk. Sesko seems to be that guy, but you're just never going to have the guy, which is Erling Haaland. So, again, 2 teams that I'm just not impressed with whatsoever. And that is why Manchester City will win the league this season. I am telling you now. Most of the City fans have been predicting them second, third. Most of the non-City fans have seen them putting them City 4th. A lot of the pundits putting City 4th behind the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal. I just can't get my head around it at all. Like we've clearly strengthened on last year. We've still got the likes of Rodri to come back, Foden to come back, Guardiola to come back, who weren't even in the squad yesterday. So, yeah, I love being the underdog right now because, in my eyes, we're still the best team in the country. We had a blip last year based off performances, based off ageing players. And obviously things just weren't clicking. But with this new lease of life now, new backroom staff, new signings, I really do think that we're going to do bits this year. And yeah, like I said, we've got Reinders now, the best midfielder in the world, better than Paul Scholes, like the drunken video on Saturday explained. But yeah, on the whole, a pretty disappointing weekend in general in the Premier League. Obviously, it was great for it to have it back. Consumed my whole weekend with watching the football, but too many stinky games for me. Villa, Newcastle 0-0. Do you know what I mean? United, Arsenal yesterday. They were two of the games I was looking forward to watching the most, and 1 goal out of both the games across 180 minutes. Terrible. But yeah, let me guys know what you think. Have your opinions changed based off what you've seen this weekend? I want to see if City fans' opinions have changed off what they think we can achieve this year as well. Because I've been reaffirmed and given more confidence that I do think we'll win the Premier League this year. And I think we'll challenge on all fronts. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree with me. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.